you are the meeting host, enter your PIN followed by a pound. If you are the first person to join the meeting, please stand by.
Okay, I guess we better get going. Ready to go?
Yeah, I can get the microphone to stay on. All right, tape's going. Yeah, I think we're all set.
Okay, thanks. All right, well, we welcome you to the Monday, the 23rd of November, a special meeting of the Board of Selectmen. 2 items on the agenda. The first item is a Connecticut water proposal that they pay the town a sum of money in lieu of paving the streets in Sound View. And in summary, the company proposes that it pays the town $175,000 in lieu of doing the full repaving effort there. I think this is overall a very favorable thing to do because one of the streets, Portland Avenue, will be it'll be torn up with respect to the force main. When that work begins, it could possibly be this summer, and then following that, the whole Soundview sewer will be installed using all 3 streets, so the streets will be torn up yet again. These funds will be put aside until the completion of the Soundview sewers, and that'll reduce the cost of the paving of the streets at that time. I talked with Ed Adante, our Public Works Director, and he said that he thought that payment was a very fair payment, and I think it would make little sense to have them go to the trouble of doing more sophisticated paving and then having it all torn up anyway. So we wanted to bring this to the Board of Selectmen. The Connecticut Water Company writes, in lieu of performing permanent paving restoration on town roads in Soundview, Connecticut Water proposes to provide you with a total payment equal to the cost to perform roadway restoration as part of your own project. The trenches have been compacted and temporarily paved as agreed during construction. Please acknowledge below and sign the original copy of this letter if this is acceptable. So that's the short story. If folks have any questions, try to answer them.
So they just have the temporary paving on it now?
Yeah, they put a blacktop paving down, so that should be sufficient for...
Everything's passable and plowable, and Ed's all happy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Tim, if this temporary patching doesn't hold up over the winter or plowing, will Connecticut Water come back and fix that?
I would say if it's deficient in any way, but if it's some kind of wear and tear, I think even on 156 there's a temporary patch, I think, as you go past Oak Ridge and so forth.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the ones on the town roads, the work on the town
roads. If something developed, I'm sure we would try to get Ed to assess whether it was faulty workmanship or whether it's something that is beyond that. I can't imagine there'd be a widespread failure, but I expect if there's a pothole that develops, we would probably take care of it. If it was something more substantial, then we'd have to have a talk about it.
Okay, and it doesn't include Pond Road? Anything on Pond? It's just
I don't know if Pond Road has been dug up. That Pond Road is technically not a town road.
Right. That's why I just want to make sure, so it's just Hartford, Portland, and Swan?
That's my understanding. Pond obviously is used during the summer by all the activity. It's not limited to residents of Miami Beach in any way, but it's not a town road.
Yeah, that's what, I just want to make sure we're not going to be, are part of the,
I'm trying to
eventual
remember
paving.
whether this activity happened on Pond Road or not.
don't know for sure. I don't know that it has, but
Yeah.
we're not responsible for the paving of Portland, or up Pond, if indeed the road is broken up for any reason. We're
Yeah, I
not
think that
responsible for that.
and my view would be that is not our road, and that Miami would have jurisdiction over that.
Okay.
Okay, we're having a meeting right now, so I'll have to catch up with you later.
Okay.
This is Selectmen's
This is not a
meeting.
regular meeting.
It's a Selectmen's meeting. We're double teaming. You can stay in a room, but okay.
So I'm in favor of that, if you want, make a motion.
Okay.
If you need a motion.
Yes. Okay, we have a motion to accept the offer of the 175 and do the letter and so forth.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on it?
I would just like to add to the motion that it specifies Hartford Avenue, Portland Avenue, and Swan for that 175.
Okay, amend it to say it's for those three streets.
Yes,
All right.
I'm fine with that.
thank you.
Okay. Okay. Okay, then we'll vote on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment to specify the three streets, Swan, Hartford, and Portland? Say aye.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the original motion is amended to accept it, the 175 with the amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good, thank you. The second item is appointments which we had with the staff concerning COVID. The group that met last week talked about perhaps going to appointments. The group that assembled primarily at the 1 o'clock was a bigger crowd, and there was a sincere urge to have appointments with a ranger type arrangement that would not just have people coming into the building with the hope that they would have an appointment, but that indeed there'd be some way to either lock the doors and somebody have to let them in if you couldn't get rangers, or you would have a ranger type presence. How we would work that would have to be determined, but there would be supervised entry as opposed to just hoping that people would have appointments. Obviously there'd be a transition time between when we decide exactly what we're going to do and informing the public of that, and when people will understand, get the word, so to speak. Obviously, if we change the way we're doing it now, which is just town halls open, to appointments, I think the town clerk indicated that they have an appointment sign on a hand sanitizer down there, and it's like it's invisible. People just come in and go into the office and try to do what they need to do. So I think there was concern that simply saying we want appointments without some kind of supervision would not work very well. There was also an urge to have a summary for employees as to what would be the protocol if somebody were exposed to someone within the 15-minute duration. If they themselves came down with it, how would things operate in terms of the job functions and some of the stuff we talked about. How would you try to have the access to the computer if you were well enough to work from home but not able to come into the building? How could you access more than just having a telephone rollover and so forth? So Dave has worked up a draft. I haven't really even seen it yet, but to explain to employees, here's what you do type of thing. Set the stage. And then if we thought the appointment with a ranger type supervision, that would require some additional logistics to figure out, it's 9 to 4, so you've got to figure out how do you man that. I think we know that with the FEMA money is likely not to be available. We have to assume that. It could be, but let's assume it's not. So how do we, that would be a money question. How do we come up with the dollars that would pay for that? Are there any other ways? Is there anybody in the building that could be pressed into service? We haven't explored any of that, but it would be a different model than just announcing that you must have an appointment to come in and talk with the staff in town hall as opposed to just coming in, walking in.
Can I add something?
Sure.
I hit a lot of the local town halls in my job, and Essex has a pretty good setup considering, Groton today announced that they're going to close altogether, but Essex has a setup, you meet outside, or this time of year, they moved them inside, but just inside the foyer like before, you come in and they have a ranger type person there, and he has a walkie-talkie, and every office has a little two-way radio, and you sign in your name, phone number, and the office that you want to go to. So say if you want to go to the clerk's office, they'll radio in clerk's office and ask, do you have anybody in the office right now? Yes or no. I'm sending so-and-so up there. And when you get done with that office, you tell that person that either you're going to leave or maybe I'm going down to the assessor's office next. And they call and say, assessor, can so-and-so come down? Do you have opening? I think they allow one or two, depends on the office size. And then it goes from there and they pass them out. And then when you leave, he checks you off. And then if they have an outbreak or something, supposedly they're going to notify you that you were there between 1 and 3 on a Thursday and they had another positive thing. So I think that would work well here. Again, we'd have to have a ranger. But that would probably eliminate the appointments where people just, barge in and do nothing. They're going to get stopped and say, I need to go to the tax collector. I need to go to, various building department, So that's my...
Yeah, I guess you could do both.
Thought of that, Dave.
You might be able to do both, that if somebody showed up unannounced...
well, you don't have to make an appointment. You just go, in like you're doing your regular business, and obviously, all these town halls are trying to get everybody to do everything they can online and mail stuff in, but still some people have to go, recording or something like that. But, definitely the pedestrian traffic at the town halls I've seen is low. And that seems to work.
Yeah,
that's the only
I
other
think
town hall that does that. Everybody else it's a free-for-all.
I think we have some of the walkie-talkie units, don't we, David? Probably about 6 of them, something like that. Now, I don't know if that's all on one frequency or whether you would have different frequencies for different offices, so it's not too much chatter on the thing for But anyway, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Just a suggestion.
yeah. That could be good. If somebody showed up without an appointment and there was no one waiting to see, or no one with an appointment that was going to take up some counter time, or nobody was there, then they might be served at that time.
They're basically making an appointment when they get there.
Yeah.
Call
Right.
the department.
I think the staff person would be pretty important in that regard, because if you had nobody and just crossed your fingers that everybody would do the appointments, you'd be disappointed, I'm sure.
Maybe an attorney would call and say, I've got a recording, and it's like 60 pages, it's gonna take me 20 minutes or so. Maybe they will call and say, you'd be open today.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they're doing their business.
Well, the town clerk is a unique situation because they have the vault. They can accommodate max 2 people in there likely, but Courtney mentioned that somebody who had some medical issues was doing title work in there and asked that she be the only one at that time. So that, out of deference to her condition, they did that. So, and then they have regular people coming in for a computer and talking to so each office has its own peculiarities. So, but that sounds pretty interesting. That could be good. It would at least keep it to a manageable level.
Well, the office itself has control over it. If they don't want the person coming in right now, they say no.
Yeah.
You either don't have the room or can't do it. You have to leave your stuff at the box and we'll pick it up tomorrow or something later on.
Yeah.
But this way it gives them control.
Okay.
Yeah, it also allows, if the office has the time, somebody from the office to come out here and meet with them, as opposed to, for some reason.
We did discuss that. We did say that, take land use, if one of the people in the back was to meet with someone, they would need to, rather than lead the person back through the cubicles, they would come out and meet in a room, separate room, out on a mezzanine or you name it. So to minimize that.
I think that makes sense. I mean, the key is obviously to keep everybody safe. The key is also to avoid becoming a close contact, so we don't have all these contact issues.
Yeah.
So the fewer access to meetings and people, the more likely you're going to be successful there.
Right. Right. Okay, that's good. That's good. Dave, do you want to comment on the what you've been drafting a little bit? Yeah, come on up and we'll got the mic there. Well, you got that.
Well, as Tim commented earlier, there was a meeting with the town hall employees today, and they voiced their concerns and questions over what they're seeing in the news. There is an increase in rise of COVID cases feeling positive statewide and also regionally here, close proximity around all our towns. And also finding out, some municipalities are starting to change the way they do business by appointment only, closing to the public, restricting the volume of people coming in and out. One, to protect their employees, and also to try to protect the individuals coming in and out of town halls. So the conversations went back and forth. We gathered some really good information from them. One was their opinions on, as you discussed earlier, closing town hall to the public and having it either A, by appointment only, or B, by possibly using a ranger type person or a greeter at the entry point, and then controlling the entry point, the rest of the entry points on town hall. It would create a better sense of security for the individuals and the workers in here. The decision that I feel the Board of Selectmen should make on recommendation on which way to go, either go with a greeter, go with appointment only. possibly blend the two together. To open discussion. Also, the other things that they discussed was, even though in the beginning of COVID back in March, I provided a lot of information and the town attorney applied to put a lot of information out to the Board of Selectmen on how to react and respond for COVID. One thing that was not ever produced was anything in writing to the employees saying, thou shalt try to do this, or that. So through the discussions this afternoon, I kind of committed myself to talking with the Board of Selectmen and trying to draft up some basic outlines or ideas on how we can put together not a policy or a practice, but mostly a protocol or a guidance on what's anticipated and what's expected from the employees, what's anticipated and what's expected from the employer status of town hall. So I drafted this thing out really quick this afternoon and try to just put it together. I don't need answers tonight, but I need comments and concerns. Going through it, basic outline of how the town employees and the customers and anybody coming into town hall manages social distancing. Basically, getting everybody to remain at least 6 feet distance for the greatest possible time, both inside and outside this workplace. Throughout town hall, we've got markers in place, being able to reutilize those and enforce those if we have a high volume of people coming in and out of town hall. I think with the controller of the either the greeter or combination between greeter and appointment only status, we could eliminate or try to minimize the number of outside persons coming in and coming out of town hall, protecting the employees. Disinfecting and cleaning the workspaces, what the employees' requirements would be on their personal workspaces, their desks, their keyboards, providing them with cleaning materials, and then having the janitorial services expand out into the larger areas and common areas. We have a supply of personal protective equipment, masks and gloves that are still readily available for all the town hall employees. All they have to do is ask when their inventories go down. Taking a look at shared equipment that's common equipment, such like copiers, fax machines, things that multiple people use a single device for in a certain area. Setting it up, we never really went into how to keep those keys clean or how to disinfect that machine between uses. Came off. Daily self-checks. If you're coming to work, state of Connecticut and CDC give you make recommendations on if you're coming to work, you're not sick, you don't have symptoms, your temperature is below 100 degrees. There's like 8 or 9 different medical items that CDC and the state recommend that an individual self-screens themselves on. Being able to put some kind of a protocol in place on that. So if you do wake up in the morning and have a fever, or if you have fatigue, or if you have a heavy cough, or you're difficulty breathing, these are COVID symptoms that would act as a deterrent for you to come to work and possibly go out and reach out to your virtual medical provider to get an exam. One of the other biggest questions out there was close encounter reporting protocols. If an individual does experience symptoms, who do they call? Do they call their immediate supervisor? Do they call the first selectman's office? Do we have a designated person to take these calls? And what guidances and what recommendations as an employer to provide to the employee? Also with close encounters. If I, as an employee here, came in contact with somebody on the outside that was within 6-foot distance greater than 15 minutes, which the CDC is recommending as a protocol, what do I do? Do I self-quarantine? Who do I contact? How do I go about doing this? I think it's both the employees to give them, everybody in town hall, everybody on the municipal payroll, give them the opportunity to at least say, this is how you react. And that's about it. Like I said, I banged this out this this afternoon after 2 o'clock. And I just started gathering some of my thoughts, but I'd like to get some input and some recommendation or even suggestion from the Board of Selectmen, and also to determine if this is a worthy project to go forward with, come up with some timelines, and then some specifics.
Good start, good start.
I definitely think it's a worthy project. I mean, we have to do this. I think we've got to do something. I mean, this is not going away. It seems like it's going to get worse.
Do you think the people at Ledge Light might review our final draft, so to speak, to make sure we're including, not including whatever it needs to be?
There's many different subject matter resources out there, one being CDC, one being the State of Connecticut DPH, and of course Ledge Light.
Yeah, but DPH, I can't even get somebody on the phone after 3 and 4 times. But maybe Ledge Light could, if we rough something up, we could show it to them and see if they...
If I reached out to Steve Mansfield, he would take the time to take a look at it.
Yeah.
I like the possible suggestion down here that about the lower level. I think, if we have everybody entering through one entrance, it would be very helpful.
We did that in the beginning, and basically we had the lower level for the employees, and the staff only, because the lunchrooms down there, there's a series of restrooms down there that could be only for employee. They have the break room downstairs, and in the beginning it was easier to isolate that, control it with a key lock on the outside so the general public's not coming in and out. The only downfall was that for ADA access, it's difficult for someone with ADA capability to come up through and come in through the front door. But I think if we did close the basement off or the lower level off, and by going to point when only if we did have anybody with ADA mobility issues, they can be either met down there by an individual, escorted over the elevator, and then utilize the elevator for they need to go.
You can use the sidewalks to get to the 2 ramps, the pavement dips and so forth. This curb is not all the way down both ways. So depending on the nature of the disability, that you could do that. But
I think
so many people,
any individuals with a mobility issue.
Yeah, so many people just are so accustomed to the front doors that I think if you block them off and sit down here, plus you have staff parking taking up most of the parking.
Sure.
Do you envision, by the way, I think this is great, do you envision people coming in and out the same door?
Depending upon the volume, right now it's open flow. And knock on wood, we have not had an employee-related positive case, confirmed positive case yet in the town hall. I think it's going to be only a matter of time before somebody does get exposed, especially going through the holiday seasons. Close confinement, everything else going on in life. I would play the traffic pattern by ear.
Okay.
Because we're going into winter.
Okay.
But I think it's more important to be able to control the volume of people coming through versus the directional flow of people coming through.
Yeah. The only part I think that should be really emphasized on here is whatever we provide to them.
I'm sorry, can you speak up a little bit?
Sure.
I got the veterans behind me here.
Yeah, they're noisy today. I think we need to add what we expect the employees to do also besides cleaning their workstation, to wear their mask. I think that has to be overemphasized. And not just a bandana, but a good mask.
Are you volunteering to work with me on this?
I think I already did.
Yeah, I think we could. I don't know whether we can refine this in the next couple of days. I think we need to do it right rather than rush to meet a perceived deadline. But yeah, I think we can all take a crack at this and come up with something good. I like Chris's idea because I think it incorporates customer service as well as employee safety. And if a department has nobody there waiting and somebody comes to see that department, just turning them away arbitrarily, I think that's tough on customer service. If they're busy, then you could say you don't have an appointment. There's someone waiting and there's someone at the counter, so you'll either have to wait or you'll have to.
I think the important part of that is limiting or creating controlled access into the facility through a single source, and also directing those individuals once they come into the building to go to a pre-department area where what department they're going to.
Because if we have 6 of those walkie-talkies, that means a base and 5. When you start counting places, I think if somebody comes in, they can easily walk down and talk to the selectman's office if necessary. But, I think between tax assessor, clerk, land use, maybe building, financial sort of off the beaten path for customer traffic. So
Actually, the selectman's office, the assessor's office, tax office, land use,
clerk,
and town clerk.
yeah.
And I think this is,
We can
Major ones.
modify.
Plus, it also gives really good accountability. You know who's here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is a nice happy median too. And then if we find we have an outbreak, well, then we can go to more of a lockdown situation. This allows us some flexibility.
And the way Mr. Kerr defined what Essex is doing, basically that's a back way to do contact tracing.
Yep.
If there is an outbreak, it's being done mostly in restaurants on the northern part of Vermont and Hampshire doing this extensively now, is when you go into a facility, they take your name, your address, and your telephone number. And the only reason they want that, and they put your time in and your time out. So if you go into a restaurant, if you go into Essex Town Hall, they show that you were present here at this time as an entry point and a departure time. So in the event of an outbreak 2 or 3 days later, they can go back and review the sign-in sheets to find out who might have been possibly exposed by department visit or by person that you're visiting, such as in the restaurant industry of Vermont and Hampshire, by waitress and by restaurant staff.
Dave, do you know when an employer certainly can request that their employee gets a test, if that's the route we want to take? Do you know if Ledgelight has any plans, or do they have a line for people that are sent to get a test by their employer versus just a person randomly wanting a test?
There's, depending upon the testing location and the organization sponsoring the testing location, there is some sections called for first responders, and that is fire, police, and EMS. That doesn't include public works, it doesn't include town hall employees. All of those people will go into the general hall. There's no way of, the only way that they limit that priority to the speed lane per se is by class, when they're able to operate an additional lane as for first responders, to get them in and get them out quickly.
I think Public Works is first responders for the state earlier this year.
They asked about making them, it hasn't happened, I know of. It was mentioned on the governor's call.
Weird, that's because there was some certificate I saw that was last spring that was issued to Public Works Department recognizing them as first responders.
They're still trying to classify public works operators as within first responders. Critical.
Yeah. Okay, so if we were to require someone that said they may have been exposed,
there's many different avenues to turn to. They could go to their private provider. and have your private medical provider do a test. You could get in line and go to one of these public tests. It's all PCR testing now. The reliability of it's good. Of the testing is much more stringent than.
Well, once we get past Thanksgiving, that'll subside.
I don't know. But
I don't know if you all know, but the Legion the VFWA has this spot at 5, so I hate to cut this short, but if we're at 5:05 now, so if you could maybe just, any final questions, because in deference to these guys, they're...
Well, I think the only thing I'm asking for is if you feel this is a worthy path to go down, and you like the emergency management to take lead on it.
Well, I think we'll work on this full steam ahead over the next couple of days, see what we can do, and then, feed back to the employees what we're doing, and...
Okay. Well, can we wrap it? We have a meeting next Monday, don't we?
Yeah.
We can, wrap it up and maybe...
Well, we got 2 days to wrap it up, because it's holidays in between.
Yeah, true, but...
We should make some good progress, but I think we
Give
can...
some guidance to start this,
Yeah.
Sooner than later process.
Oh, I think the next 2 days we try to get on it. So you have Dave's things. Let's try to flesh this out, and maybe during the day tomorrow we can get some feedback.
Okay. Can we get a ranger or someone similar like that signed up quickly? Usually they're kids in high school and college.
Most of them, well, you would have to have an individual who is at least 18 years old. You wouldn't want to put a high school kid in here under the age of 7 or 17.
No, well, they're in school anyway.
Right.
Yeah. We'll have to work on that. There may be some,
Okay.
fire, police people, who the hell knows?
Yeah, could get points, they could get maybe points by working.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well-
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to it. Okay, thank you at 5:08. Thank you.
Do they use these speaker systems?
Ready to throw us out.
Natives are getting restless.
We can just leave this stuff and I'll collect it.